everybody, this is Angela from Texas, and you're listening to 5 Picks and a Chick featuring El Gato. This is the show that gives you 5 NFL picks for people who love football and friendly wagering. Today we are joined by our special guest, Henry, again. Thank you for being with us again, Henry.
Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to talking about some games and picking some winners.
All right, sounds good to me. Last week I went 2-3 and El Gato went 0-5. You know, the thing to remember though with this, El Gato, the season record, even though you went 0-5 last week, you are still one game over 500 for the season. So that's not too bad. I believe the season record for both of us now is 20 wins, 19 losses, and 1 tie. So not too bad.
I'll take it considering, what happened last week. And I wrote up a little autopsy report with that just so we can button this one up. I had 2 teams up 14 in the fourth quarter. The Bears were up 14. The Cowboys were up 14. They gave it up. Bears, especially with that, giving up a 93-yard fourth quarter with, a little over 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe left to play, and giving that one up. And, of course, I had my 49ers who couldn't score from the 1-yard line late in the fourth quarter to give me a cover on that one. But, that's the way it goes. I did win one feature pick, was my Chiefs, so they covered minus 9.5, so I was at least happy winning one last week. But, moving on to this week, we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, I could not remember what your feature pick was, and I'm glad you mentioned that because, hey, that's a win. A win is a win. So,
a win is a win.
Yeah,
that's right. I'll take them.
Yeah, I cannot believe that we're halfway through the season or maybe over halfway through the season. It's just crazy. It's going by so fast.
Blazing by. That's what happens. So once the season arrives, it takes so long to get here, and then once it starts, it moves.
I know. We're going to be sad. Oh well. My first pick this week is going to be Jets +3. I think that line might have moved to 3.5 recently, but I will take Jets +3 if I have to buy up half a point. They are playing at New England Patriots. The Jets have won 5 out of the last 6 games. Their only loss was 3 weeks ago against the Patriots. They have a top 10 defense, which will carry them to a win and avenge their loss 3 weeks ago against this same team. Do you have any comments on that, El Gato?
I do. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. Both teams pretty much excel on the defensive side. Patriots have had some problems the last couple of weeks offensively, but they get a rookie wide receiver back. What I've read, they've integrated him more into the game plan, so that's another weapon for the Patriots offensively. I think defensively, they also get an interior defensive lineman back from injury, which is going to free up the Patriots defensive ends to really attack Wilson. I think Belichick is going to be focused on stopping the Jets' run completely and just make them one-dimensional, where Wilson is going to be is going to have to win it or perform in the passing game, which he has a propensity to make a lot of errors when you force him to pass. I think this is still a field goal game, but I'm going to take the other side of that bet. I'm going to take the Patriots, but I'm going to buy that one down to minus 2.5. I think there's going to be a field goal game, defensive struggle. Weather shouldn't be a factor, but it's going to be a very close game.
All right. Do you have any comments, Henry?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the same points by El Gato. I think when you have a Belichick team at home facing a young quarterback, I think you got to lean to the Patriots. You probably got to lean. I think that's a good point that El Gato made about the under. I don't even know what the over-under is, but I think I would lean toward the under. Belichick does a great job of just keeping these young quarterbacks guessing. It's a big division rival. Patriots, like you said, Angela, Patriots won the first one. Jets really need the game, but I think you got to go with the Patriots and Belichick.
All right. My second pick is going to be Raiders +2.5 at Denver. Denver is the lowest scoring team in the NFL, averaging only 16 points a game. If this trend holds up, Derek Carr and his offense only have to score 17 points to win the game. These two teams that had a lot of potential at the beginning of the NFL season have been a total letdown. So I'm taking the team getting the points. Any comments, Henry?
Yeah, I have a few comments on this one. The Raiders are just a hard team to trust. They've really let their fans down. They went out there and signed Adams in the offseason. One of the better receivers in the league, and obviously Carr had an emotional press conference after the loss last week. For me, it's a stay-away game. It's probably not much of a game to watch either. Broncos' offense is pretty bad. Wilson's been a pretty big letdown. But I think you're right. I think in a game like this, I think you're better off always taking the points. But it's probably a stay-away game for me.
Elgato, you got any comments?
I do. This is really a coin flip. Both teams have underperformed, have underwhelmed all year. The Denver Broncos came into the season with Wilson being at the quarterback spot, really with high hopes, being a competitor on that AFC West against the Chargers and the Chiefs, but it just hasn't come to fruition for that team. Of course, we have, to Henry's point, Raiders underperformed last week against a Colts team that should have been disorganized, but they came through. Give them credit for that. We have Carr crying at the press conference. We have Wilson not performing, playing like a rookie. Like you say, Angela, Raiders getting +1.5. I'll take that. I'll probably make that a full field goal and buy that up to +3 Raiders.
All right, Henry, do you have a third pick for us?
I do. The game that I want to talk about, the line seems to be a little bit fishy. And this is the Cowboy game. You got the Cowboys going to Minnesota, play the Vikings. Vikings just came off a big win against probably one of the better teams in the AFC, and the Buffalo Bills. Bills had a nice lead on them. Vikings fought back, got the win. Now they're playing at home against a Dallas Cowboy team that just blew a lead to a struggling Packers team. So the line that I saw was kind of gone from 1, Cowboys getting a point, to 1.5, which seems really fishy to me. You have to wonder why the away Cowboys are going and playing was it an 8-1 Vikings team? And I'm sorry, the Cowboys aren't getting points. The Cowboys are the favorite. I think I misspoke. Yeah. So that line does seem fishy to me. But I think you gotta go with the Vikings on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree on that one. Right now, as of last week, I filed for divorce from the Cowboys after that game.
Yeah.
They haven't been served. I'm still holding back on them actually getting served. But I'm estranged right now from the Cowboys giving up that 14-point lead. I know what going back to that game, you can really see how bad that performance was, considering what the Titans did to the Packers last night. I mean, they really dominated the Packers in my view. But the Vikings went to Buffalo and they struggled beginning the game. They were down as much as 7 or even 10, I believe, and they just kept fighting and fighting. Cousins kept performing. Wide receiver for the Vikings, Jefferson, made amazing plays throughout the game. Dalvin Cook with some big runs and some big third down conversions. I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking, well, is this with this win against the Bills, are the Vikings gaining more confidence, or did they spend a lot of emotional capital, winning that game? It was a back and forth game. Heck, I even got worn out watching that game, emotionally going back and forth. But I think this game is going to be a springboard for the Vikings, or at least it should be. I mean, heck, they're 8-1. They went to Buffalo and won. The Cowboys are still, I think, pissed from last week's game. Could that be a motivating factor for them to go into Minnesota and dominate that game? I mean, who knows? I mean, I think the Cowboys will need to focus on the run and get Dax off from, the 40-plus attempts he made last week. But I think I'm going to take the Vikings, with the points, +1.5. They're going to be at home. I'm thinking this is a good spot for the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with y'all on this. I am taking the Vikings as well. I think the Vikings are the hottest team in the NFL right now, having won 7 in a row, and they're getting points at home. That's crazy. So I'm all about the Vikings in this game. So all the way Vikings.
Good stuff.
All right, El Gato, do you have a 4th and 5th pick for us?
I do. My first pick is going to be Eagles, posted as -6.5 at Colts. The Eagles, underperformed, I think, against the Washington team, Washington Commanders. They made about every mistake possible in that game. Missed throws, dropping passes, not converting on third down where they normally do. Yet they were still in that game. If not for a late fumble by one of their wide receivers when they were, had momentum and ready to score, maybe could have come out with that game with a win, maybe even a cover. I think and then being away from Philadelphia and some distraction, this is going to be a road game for them, a business trip. I think they go in there into Indianapolis, into the Colts, and I think they're really going to dominate this game. I just have that feeling. I think this is going to be a reset game for the Eagles moving forward. It's all business now, all seriousness. Eagles -6.5.
All right. Do you have any comments on that, Henry?
Yeah, this is an interesting game. You got Matt Ryan back at quarterback for the Colts. You got Jeff Saturday in the interim role as the coach, which I think was a head scratcher to a lot of folks. I think the biggest question here is who's going to play for the Eagles. Brown's banged up. Their top receiver, Smith, one of their better receivers, is also banged up. Both are listed as questionable. Dallas Goedert's out. That's a big loss for Hurts. So I think if you're a Colts fan, I think you wait until Sunday morning and see if this thing gets over 7 to 7.5, and I think the Eagles win the game. I think it's gonna be closer than expected, and if it does get to 7.5, I think you got to take the Colts.
Yeah, I would take the Colts in this game as well. I think the Eagles will win, but I don't think that they're going to cover. That's going to be my thought on this one. I think the Eagles are coming off their first loss and a short week. And as for Indy, they're getting Jonathan Taylor back, and they seem to be re-energized with this coaching change. I think Taylor will take advantage of a leaky Eagle run defense. So I will take Indy in this one, not necessarily to win the game, but I think the Eagles will win. I just don't think that they will cover. I think that's a lot of points. So I'll go with Indy on this side.
Good points, and I failed to mention that with that hook, that 6.5, I'd probably buy that down to six even on that one.
All right, sounds good. What about a 5th pick?
My 5th pick on this one's going to be Giants -3 against the Lions. The Lions, of course, on a couple of game win streak. And the Giants at -3, they're 7-2 against the spread. The Lions, in their game against the Bears last week, I said, well, if the Bears can just not make mistakes, not turn over the ball, they can easily cover. They should have. They didn't. But I think with the Bears having a solid run game, with their quarterback Jones not making too many mistakes in the passing game, I think the Giants will be able to control this game. The Lions, however, have been performing pretty good. They get a wide receiver back in St. Brown. They get Swift back to the game. But I think the streak for the Lions is going to be over this week. Giants are going to be I think going to have a sense of urgency to keep up with the Eagles and the Cowboys, and need to maintain a win streak here. I think -3 is fair. I'd buy that down to -2.5 though.
All right. Do you have any thoughts on this game, Henry?
Yeah, this is another tough game. Lions do a good job of staying competitive in games. I think except for 2 games, they've been like one score games. They seem to always play teams close. I think it was a good point by El Gato about the Giants have to win just to kind of stay up with the division. And so that may be enough for them, especially if you can get a line at 2.5. I think that's a good spot to take the Giants. Giants have done well in just being super competitive this year. And It's probably won more games than folks have thought.
All right. On this game, I'm going with the under 45 on this game. I think Detroit benefited last week from a weak Bear defense, scoring 31 points. But this week they will definitely be facing a more disciplined defense in the Giants. So I'm going to go with the under on this game. So that would be under 45.
Interesting. Like that one.
Do you have any bonus bet for us, Elgato?
This week I do not have a bonus pick. I was trying to focus on the 5 picks that we have here in front of us, and kind of stayed away from the bonus picks at this time.
All right, that's good. What about you, Henry? Any bonus pick?
Yeah, I got a college game I want to throw out there. It's a Big 12 game.
Let's go for it.
TCU, undefeated. TCU is traveling to Baylor, and Baylor got hammered last week by K-State. A real poor showing by those guys. I think Dave Aranda is going to rally the troops, and I think they beat TCU this weekend.
Ooh, outright, an outright win.
Sounds good.
Well,
What is the spread on that one, Henry?
TCU is -2.5.
-2.5 at Baylor. Very good.
All right.
Interesting.
Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just looking forward to, once again, another NFL weekend, and we'll see how these picks turn out. They always come down to the fourth quarter, and we'll see which team can convert on third down, or maybe even getting off the field on third down and coming out with the win and coming out with the cover. We'll see what happens.
Sounds good. Any final thoughts, Henry?
No, like you guys talked about in the intro, the season is going by way too fast.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I do want to give a quick shout out to Kai Oliver. And also, thank you for listening to 5 Picks and a Chick. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Also, hit the subscribe and like button on our YouTube channel. Thank you again to Henry for joining us for a second time. Make sure to join us next week. As always, thank you to Elgato for being part of 5 Picks and a Chick. 1, 2, 3, break.